You want to get high, man?
Let's stimulate your mind.
Get up, Chucky!
What have we got here? A fucking comedian.
Rojan Kim.
Here we go. Okay, hello, and welcome to the Rojan Kim cast. It's the Rojan Kim, and today I'm joined by Victor Martinez Jr. Everybody knows Victor in the LA area as the host, the founder of the Garage Mic, the host of the High Tonight Show, and one of the hosts of the Show Club Show in LA. Except right now he's in Arlington, Texas. He is in the great Lone Star State, who said, you know what? Fuck the coronavirus. We're opening up, motherfuckers. Yeehaw! Which I think, that's fucking, a lot of people hate on that. A lot of people are hating on it, man, but I respect it. You know what I mean?
What are they hating on?
Listen, they've gone and made this whole thing like a political thing, so that like if you don't believe one thing, that means you're like this or that. You know what I mean? Like everybody, it's just dumb shit everybody's doing because they're all bored. Where they feel like Republicans are the ones opening up because they don't believe in science, and then you know what I mean? And they're like the fucking, it's just dumb
I
shit
love
like
that argument. I love it. It sounds really fucked up, doesn't it? Like they want people to get sick on purpose now.
Well, not only that, I don't know about that. Honestly, I think it's a bunch of people in cities who have to be locked down because they're in fucking cities, right? You know what I mean? There's like tons of millions of people, so it's mad dense, so you have to be locked down. But they want everybody who doesn't live in cities to also not have any fun. You know what I mean?
The people in LA, their opinion is if someone gets unlocked, they want them to get sick to prove a point, right? Like that's the idea right now.
Well, that's some people, because people are that fucking twisted and fucked up. Where
Isn't that fucked up? Like they think that's a good thing. Like, oh yeah, they got sick. You see, I'm right.
Yeah, because
that's sad. That's fucking sad as shit.
Well, they don't care about people. They just care about being right. It's just people who just want to be right. You know what I mean? Like that's because that's all they have right now. You got nothing else right now, because otherwise it's actually more fucked up to realize that, oh shit, maybe I've just been doing all this for nothing, or maybe I just fucking don't even question authority and I just do whatever people tell me.
That's the one thing that no one could ever accept to themselves, is like, I just do what I'm told.
Yeah.
Like, they've never said that sentence ever. And
so
especially
then they
now more than ever, they're just like, they keep convincing themselves like, no, I've chosen to wear the mask. I've chosen to stay inside. Like, no, you didn't. Especially these comedians are like, oh no, we stopped doing comedy on our own. They shut us down. We didn't, no one at the Comedy Store chose to shut them doors. The city shut them,
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's
that is the whole thing. And it's the thing right now is that, like, I think, well, remember, you know what it reminds me of? Remember that you said, you put up a post that just said, like, try to listen to somebody you don't agree with. Right?
Oh yeah,
right? It was just simple,
without like blocking them, just
try.
That's a lost art form, is disagreeing without like telling someone they're like an inbred retard,
or just being able to listen. Yeah, just being able to listen to someone you don't agree with. But what was hilarious was that just the comments you got were just people being like, but then the science and millions of people will die unless they fucking, and you didn't even mention any of that. You know what I mean? Just people just fucking start jumping down your throat and just like, what about racist? What about racist? Am I supposed to listen to racist? And it was like, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, there's this guy who's like, you want to be nice to Nazis. I'm like, what?
And it's always the same ones. Always the same ones who come on and you're just like, Jesus, shut up. You guys,
no, and it's my fault. It's my fault. I let them speak. Speak. I give them a platform because I do like seeing people squirm. If I really cared, I'd block them, but I don't block people who are problematic like that. So I totally post things that I know will start some shit, especially when I'm bored.
Yeah, but I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know what I mean? I don't think that, honestly, because that's the only comedy you have left. Yeah.
It really is watching people squirm.
Yeah, trolling people, that's it. That's the only thing we've got left now.
It's the equivalent of going out to an anthill and just kicking it and watching the ants like run around. Like, I'm just so bored.
Just bored. But one of the things that I think is fun or just hilarious is watching comics fall for that. You know what I mean? Watching comics get trolled and then like go get into these like serious like arguments and discussions. It's just like you don't know what you're talking about at all. None of us know what we're talking about.
No, that's what I love about it. Is like they're outing themselves. The more sure you are, the more sure you are of yourself. Like the dumber you look, really. You know, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to do comedy again for 2 years, or you're dumb, and you're selfish. I'm like, okay, well, you're proving me. Yeah, go ahead, show me.
Yeah, I think that's just I don't know. Honestly, I think it's like a lot of people just like, first of all, they're just like scared and bored, and then the other part is just
There's
like,
a lot of fear.
Yeah, but also it's like we are a country that well, we rank worldwide #1 in confidence and like number 30 in education. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really
right,
confident.
You can't teach confidence.
Nah, man, it's inborn. It's American, man. That's what makes us American.
You can't teach that type of pride.
No. It's red, white, and blue blood flowing through our fucking veins, man. It's like that's it. So it's like it doesn't matter if we're wrong. That's not what this is all about. What matters is that we were confident in believing that we were right. That's all that matters.
It's a gut feeling. It's all. It's
forward
hope and a prayer.
And if it's wrong, we don't look back. We just keep moving forward. Who wants to look back? We don't need to look back. You know what I'm saying? Like we don't
keep going left till you're going right. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Boom, exactly. And I think that that's exactly what we've done. Like, I mean, just think about like I just think about like the wars and shit, right? Like, we still haven't. No one's really been like, hey, this is fucked up and bullshit, and we should stop it. You know, nobody is admitting that it's wrong, even after everybody knows. Everybody fucking knows that it's wrong. You know what I mean? Like, but we're just like, whatever. I guess it's just something. It's kind of like I don't know. It's like your uncle molested you and shit, and everybody's keeping it quiet or something. It's like
it's we're just like a weird. We know what he is. That's all. Like you just gotta know it. As long as you acknowledge it, that's half the battle.
Right. Just don't talk about it. You know. Just don't bring it up.
We know. You don't have to talk about it. We know.
Yeah. Just don't bring it up, okay? And don't talk about how we're our tax money is funding all of his exploits. Don't talk about that either, man. Fuck that, man. Dude, so what's Arlington like, man?
Arlington's pretty chill. You know, there's no need for mandatory masks out here, so that's beautiful.
So you don't have to wear a mask outside and shit.
You breathe a nice natural oxygen.
It looks sunny.
Of Texas.
Yeah, it looks
very
nice
sunny. I always say the sky is bigger here because there's no mountains in the distance, so the sky just appears to be much larger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I love it.
Yeah,
I've been here like going on 6 weeks now. It's the longest I've been home since I've moved 5 years ago.
Oh shit! Has that been a trip? Fucking being back in your crib, dude.
Yeah, being back at my parents this long, like it would have definitely secured the notion of whether or not I wanted to move back home, and I definitely don't. So I'm glad this happened. Because my parents were so convinced, like, man, he's gonna be here this long and he's gonna want to stay.
Oh no!
I want to. I know. It broke their heart whenever I told them. They're like, "Yeah, you've been here for how long now?" I'm like, "Yeah, 5, 6 weeks." They're like, all right, so you definitely want to stay, right? I'm like, no, I don't want to stay. I've been planning my escape since I landed.
You're like, no, this only confirms how much I hated here.
Yeah, like I love you guys. I miss my family. But not the place. You know, and I've always been in the back of my mind, I want to like retire here. You know, whenever I lose my steam, I'd move to Austin as an old man. But I don't want to be here in my youth. You know, I got too much shit to do. The pace out here is slow.
Yeah, that's true. But you know what, man? Fucking with all the shit that's going down, Texas is probably where comedy's gonna be hot, dude. Fucking comedy's gonna be. You know what I mean? Like places like Texas, places that are opening up. That's where the comedy's gonna be. Like, no.
Well, yeah,
it's gonna be closed here till
comedy. It may be curbside comedy. I don't know about like comedy clubs. I bet they're gonna hit. They're gonna be hit just as hard as any comedy club in California, possibly. Maybe Zoom shows are gonna pick back up. I don't know what they're gonna do about live entertainment, man. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen with live entertainment. It's gonna become speakeasies.
Yeah, it's gonna be like underground shit, right? They're gonna come and bust them up and everyone come in
That's
and
what
like
I've been telling the dudes. It's kind of exciting time to be a comedian again because we can actually get arrested now for the cause.
Yes.
And it hasn't been like that since Lenny Bruce?
Yeah, exactly. And well, the other thing is that like, this is something I think Colin Quinn said this all the time, but he was like, comedy is not supposed to be cool. You know what I mean? Like cool people aren't supposed to want to do comedy. Like comedy is for like fucking freaks and rejects and fucking, people who've been fucked up in life and shit like that. So I actually look forward to the fact that like the comedy bubble burst and that it is going to be way harder to get stage time. But the people
if you
really
want it, you can get it though.
Yes, if you want to do comedy right now, there's like I think I was like trying to write this joke about how like the pandemic is kind of like Louis C.K. jerking off in front of all of us, all the open micers, you know what I mean? And like if your spirit is too brittle, you're gonna quit right now. But those who really want it are just gonna be like, dude, fuck yeah, man, I'm gonna just keep going after
You're
it.
goddamn right. Yes. If COVID is jerking off in front of us.
Exactly. And then it's like,
you're
gonna cry? Yeah, are you gonna cry or are you gonna fucking write a joke about it? What are you gonna do? But
I understood the point behind that whole movement because like he did fuck them bitches up with their career. Like no one really knows to this day who they are. Like I don't know who they are. I just know that Louis C.K. jerked off in front of some comedian girls. So I understand that their their careers were put in a hold. Like they're never gonna get on top of that whole scenario.
So wait. Do you think that Louis C.K. because this is something like I can't remember who is it. I've heard people say that like Louis C.K. purposely stopped someone from getting their career going or whatever or something like that.
Not purposefully. No, not purposefully. I don't think. Other than being a weirdo and jerking off in front of some girls, that's the only thing he did purposefully. This was just like the result of that is like.
So that's why I don't.
They're unknown. Now their careers are on hold. Now no one's, even if they got famous, they'd be first known for that's the chick that Louis C.K. jerked off in front of.
Yeah, I guess so, but I don't even think that's bad. Like, Kim Kardashian was fucked by Ray J. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not. You know what I mean? It's not.
It takes
also
Kim Kardashian to get in front of that. It's not every girl that can really take that and flip it into a good thing.
But I don't. Okay, wait. Do you believe him though when he said that he asked them all? Like he asked.
Oh yeah, because he's known for asking girls to jerk off in front of him on a regular basis. I think it was. What's her name? Sarah Silverman said that they used to hang out all the time, and sometimes he'd just start jerking off. I mean, that's just the thing he did.
That was just his thing.
If you hung out with Louis C.K. and you're a girl and you're alone, he might just start masturbating. And he'd ask and be like, yo, I'm going to start masturbating. And you would think it's a joke, and he maybe would be laughing while he's pulling his dick out.
And then he'd start doing it.
It seems like a joke. And, jerking off is kind of a funny thing, especially for girls to watch dudes do because it's pathetic and hilarious.
I don't know. I think it's pretty funny, dude. I mean, overall, I get it if you were like, whatever, but like, it is pretty funny and there was consent involved. You know what I mean? It's like to say Louis C.K. is like Harvey Weinstein is like, you know what I mean? Like, that's like, there's like a big difference.
He was heading in that direction, especially whenever it happened and whenever that broke. Like he was making and producing films. So he was almost damn near equivalent to, Harvey Weinstein. He was heading down that road of like, let me jerk off in front of you. I'll let you star in my movie. Like, you want to be on Louis on FX? How many of those girls did he jerk off in front of, right?
Right. I don't know. I mean, maybe. I just think that, did you see his special? Because he has a hilarious bit about it. Oh, dude, his bit is so good, dude. He's got
it's hard to sit down and watch comedians, after watching so many and hosting so many shows.
I know.
I did like Louis C.K. at a time, so I don't want to pay for it. That's the thing. I've never paid for a special.
Oh.
I can't remember the last time I paid for anybody's special, so I might bootleg it.
Oh, no. I got you. I got the hookup.
Do you?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Oh, shit. No okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad we brought it up. I'd love it.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it because...
I'll ask you. Oh,
Yeah, no, it's worth it because it's just funny how he talks about it, and you know what I'm saying. Like it's and whatever, man. The shit's he's still funny.
Yeah,
So
he'd be a coward not to address it. So I'd love
yeah,
to hear
yeah.
that bit.
And he's a comic, man. That's the thing is like, you know what I mean? When it comes down to it, like he's just a fucking degenerate comedian who
He's a dirty old man.
He's a dirty guy, but that was never like he never hid it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he pretended to be the nicest guy in the world, and then you found out, oh, he was fucking kids or something. You know what I mean? Like
no, his material definitely reflected on his actions.
Yeah, and I feel like that if
it
anything,
wasn't a complete surprise. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like especially let's contrast that with like say a priest, a Catholic priest. You know what I'm saying? Who's not who's supposed to be a really good guy.
Like, yeah, the best example is what's his name, Bill Cosby. Like he was portraying a father that doesn't do the things that he was notorious for doing.
Raping, raping women. Yeah, he would never do that. Drug and rape women.
Yeah,
but he did in real life.
Yeah, maybe if his material was about raping women for the past 40 years, we wouldn't have been so surprised when that broke out. You know.
Wouldn't that have been crazy if he like just that was actually what he got known for the law, and then the news broke, and then we were like, oh, this all makes sense now.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and listen to his albums, but I don't think he mentions giving women pills. I don't think he mentions it once.
There is one bit he has is a Spanish fly bit. He has a Spanish fly.
Shit.
Yeah, he does, man. Yeah, you can YouTube it. Yep. He's all
I never saw that episode
give a girl a Spanish fly, you know, and like slip a little Spanish fly in the drink, and then they get all. He's like fucking does a little act out of them and shit. Like it's. I'm telling you. Hey, listen. I mean, I think.
Damn, he gave a warning.
Yeah, we should have listened to him.
He mentioned it once, didn't he? Like, oh shit. No, well, I fucking A, man. No, but yeah, speaking of that, like, I do want to get back into comedy. It would make me sad right now to really get into it. Like, I've avoided, what's his name, Seinfeld for the same reason. Like, if I see an audience right now, I might just get sad. You know, it'd be the exact opposite.
That's true. That's true. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, like, comedy is never going to go away forever, but what it was right before the shutdown is no more. You know what I mean? Like, what it used to be is no longer. It will be something else, and it'll probably be great one day again, but this is definitely it's like a new cycle. So then, do you want to come back to LA? Is that what the
yeah, I'm coming back to LA on the 21st. I've booked a flight. We'll be back. And I think I'm going to start doing some underground garage mic shit. Like, I'm not going to post it on the Comedy Bureau, but I'm basically going to, like, just start inviting people over. We'll be as clean as possible. We'll wear masks. You know, I think I'm going to close the garage door. It won't be as open as it was before. But I'm going to try, underground speakeasy shit, like some fucking rock, what do they call it? Like, just not rock star, but illegal shit, like bootlegging. I don't know. The old days of, you have to knock 3 times and know a secret password to get in or some weird shit, invite only. I don't know. Members only.
Well,
something.
I mean, that's always been, for me, I feel like comedy has always been the closest thing to a drug. So it totally makes sense that it'll become like a drug den. It's like a place.
It really will. Like that, you've been to the garage. I kind of ran it like that before it was illegal. Now I'm just going to be basically closing the garage door.
Right.
But other than that, I really do want to get back to it. I'm not going to let this shit stop me. And I can't just settle with Zoom. I can't settle with online shit. It's like fucking condoms, it's so boring. It's not really not the full feeling.
Yeah,
it's really not.
Nah.
I wanna hear the laughter, but like at all at once in a room without any ping fucking, delay, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really, how can you develop anything without immediate response from a room full of people? It's just, that's how comedy was born.
Yep.
I don't think there's they never imagined people could speak through computers whenever they started talking in front of crowds. I don't think it's going to translate well. Even if, like, say, a comedian's born today and that's all he knew was Zoom comedy,
Mm-hmm.
and like they look at crowds as something ancient, like, oh, people used to do that back before they had color television. They had audiences. No, there's no way, man. I don't think it'll ever translate.
No, I mean it's a completely different medium. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
not. So I don't think it's. I mean, I get people doing stuff because you got to do stuff, but you can't force something into something that it's not. You know what I mean? Like this is live comedy is live comedy. It's never going to be anything else. That's why
It makes me wonder, like, yeah, how long did those performers stop after the Black Plague? Maybe we could look into that, do some homework on like how long it took for live performances to pick back up again after the last major plague like that.
Well, actually, we had a couple in the 50s and 60s. We just don't remember in the U.S. So like it comes back. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very similar. It's like everybody fucking stays inside, is afraid, and then eventually enough people get immunity or a vaccine, and then they start coming back out again. It's natural. It's like it's gonna happen.
Well, I mean, there's comparable events, but at the same time, I feel like this is some new shit. Like the unity, the entire world coming together before it ever really hit. Other than, I guess, like Italy. We saw Italy go down, we saw China go down, and then the rest of the world took a step like it had never seen before, right? Like it has to be, and it's because of the internet and communication.
Right.
Because
but I think that's
before, yeah, you wouldn't know there was a plague coming until someone told you by mouth, and they had the plague in them already.
Right. So I think
now,
that's a double-edged sword, though. That's a double-edged sword because on one hand, yeah, we all are all informed, but then on the other hand, it's much easier to control that information. You know what I'm saying? And then what happens with that information?
It is. It was easier. Yeah, like it got so saturated. Like I don't know what accurate news is anymore at this point. There's 6 or 7 different sources that all say very different things. Where is a real like solid truth? It's hard to pin down these days.
And I think that's the reason why anybody who's completely convinced or telling you that they know the truth, that's the person you should be suspicious of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because they read what I read, and they think that they understood it better.
Yeah, and they just think they're on the right side. It's just being on the right side. But like, well, okay. I think, do you think that, let's say, just say your state, the state of Texas, all right? The state of Texas, the governor is like, you know what? I'm not going to lock down. We're not going to do this, right? Did the governor lift lockdown basically?
For a little bit, they did. Like when I first got here, it was a bit more locked down, and then as the weeks went by, they unlocked the state parks, and then the restaurants, and then now finally the indoor mall is finally open, with a lot of stores in it still shut down, but the mall itself is being open is like a big step,
And are people going?
I'm sure that LA. Yeah, I went. I didn't touch anything. I just wanted to walk indoors.
Yeah.
And so I went, and there's people there, and some of them, it's about 50-50. Some are wearing masks, some aren't. I think that we all definitely are keeping our distance. It's just like increased as far as like police are concerned. I've like, that's the one thing I saw that I'd never seen in the mall before, was like a dog, a canine dog, and like 2 cops like at every other corner. And they were really on it. Like they were really looking for some shit to go down. Like I was so confused by that. I saw the dog. I was like, is he sniffing for COVID? Is that a COVID sniffer? I don't know what they're looking for,
Looking for everything, bombs, drugs, whatever you got.
Yeah, it's interesting that, like, I don't know if they plan it this way or they just seize the opportunity when it comes along, but this police state shit, it's like a boa constrictor just constantly tightening his grip. Every chance we exhale, like, any little thing that goes down, they're like, oh, yeah, well, it's a good reason to put a cop there, right? Just for any reason. It has nothing to do with it. Why would you arrest people when they're all getting sick? Why would you put the police in danger if that's the real danger of touching people, Doesn't make any sense to me. But at the same time, they're actually rolling out robots and shit like that. So I guess they have an answer for everything.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's basically, I think like it doesn't really matter if any of this shit was planned because they definitely do take the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it doesn't. To me, I'm like, if they planned it or not, I don't really give a fuck. Like, what they want to do is seize the opportunity, like you said, at every moment. So, like after 9/11, we fucking, we had to like, the TSA came. We had to like now take off our shoes. We do all this stuff, and even though none of that is actually saving any lives, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, it doesn't help.
It doesn't help. It's just, I think it's a way of making you go through an action so that you give up that sort of control. You know what I'm saying? It's just like we all agree to do this thing and then we do it and then we go, you know what I mean? Even though it doesn't.
I've come to terms with it. Like I think that for more, like I guess, what do they call it? We're getting less violent, but the population's going higher. And like, I guess the denser the population gets, you have to just control them. I mean, there's no way about it. If you let people go crazy and you have that many of them, they're going to fuck up. So it's like having a stricter parent because your house is getting bigger. I don't like it, but at the same time, I want everyone to be in peace. So if that means everyone has to be watched, shit, I don't want it, but it's like a reality, right?
Yes, I think both as an Asian and a Mexican, we both understand the need for strict parents in a large household.
Yeah, like I get it.
We get it. But that's why that's why different countries have been handling this shit so differently. You know what I mean? Like a lot of the Asian countries, they didn't really need to they were basically, everybody actually went through it with SARS already. And everybody's basically like, okay, we wear masks, like we just, they're not going to argue. They just kind of do it because they understand that it's for the greater good. They just do it.
Is that when it became part of the culture over there, when they started wearing masks, was for SARS? Because I know they had definitely adopted that way before we did.
Yeah, SARS was like 15 years ago. So SARS, as scary as this is to us now, is how fucked up it was for them back then.
And they were so fucked up by it. They continued wearing the mask even after the scare went away.
Well, so not only that, and not only that, it just it's like they understand how to stop the spread because they had to deal with it the first time when they fucked up. You know what I mean? Like, so every country or whatever, like the first time they go through this shit, they fuck up because people are all the same. They're like, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, people are just like, they don't believe it. You know what I mean? They're like, whatever. It's all fucking hype until it starts fucking killing people. And then they go, okay, now we got to do this because everything shuts down. So SARS-1, the thing about SARS-1 though, was SARS-1 is that it was actually deadlier than this one. This is SARS-2. They don't call it SARS-2. That's actually one of the funnier things. They don't call it SARS-2, but it's SARS-1. And so SARS-1 was deadlier, but that was the reason it didn't spread as far because people would die before they could spread it. So SARS-2, SARS-2 is more spreadable, less deadly. So it's actually more successful as a virus because it's like the people don't die. In fact, something like half the people who have it don't even have symptoms. So you just spread it around without symptoms. You know what I mean? So like, it's actually a very successful virus in that way. But one of the things about viruses like that is that those viruses tend to kill less people, or it tends to be like the flu, basically, where the percentage is pretty low. And you know what I mean? And then eventually what happens is like, we'll get herd immunity and there'll be waves of it. And it'll just be like every other disease, cold flu virus we have. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to.
And that's natural. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
I liked getting sick. I used to like getting sick because I knew if I got sick and I lived, I'm just stronger now.
You would be stronger. So that's who's dying.
Mindset, like people used to have chicken pox parties and shit. So your kid can get chicken pox.
Right.
But now the I don't know, it seems like the mindset is like sterilize everything, And I guess that's how the futuristic ideal of everything is stainless steel and everyone wears suits. That's all. That's what they're going for right now. We're trying to move into this sterile future of bubbles and shit. I don't fucking like it. I like being dirty. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't always wash my hands. It's fucking weird to be sterile. It makes you weaker.
Well, it's
but
actually
maybe
kind
that's
of
what they need to be advanced.
Nah, it's kind of like a class thing though. So like so they found that like people who raise their kids, who have more money usually, raise them in very clean environments or whatever, they end up getting sicker because they have weaker immune systems than kids who are constantly exposing each other, because they're supposed to be exposed. That's actually how you get a healthy immune system, is by exposing it and then getting stronger, like you said, right? So so it's actually what's happening and what will continue to happen, because of this pandemic, the rich are going to get richer, right? The poor are going to get poor. So the rich are actually going to get more sterile, and they're going to treat the poor like they're fucking filled with disease and dirty. And meanwhile, the poor are going to have the diseases but be stronger for it, you know what I mean, and have more immunity or whatever. Right. And the poor are going to be doing all the dirty work. I mean, just like they are now, but even more so. You know what I mean? Like, so they're going to just be sending. Yeah. So I think what's going to happen is going to be like a smaller and smaller group of people who own even more and more shit, and a larger and larger group of people who own less and less shit. And then who knows where, we're going to have to let the chips fall where they may on that.
Yeah, I don't know what the tipping point is. What's the peak? Where's the point where we get to such a large population of the lower end of the triangle that we get upset at seeing how life could be? The term "eat the rich" exists for a reason. Like that notion's never going to go away. So like, do they think, are they just going to keep pushing this I guess this line until that it seems like we're about to push back? I don't know.
Man, I don't know. They've actually been talking about, they being like the banks and shit. There's been all these documents that came out after the financial crisis about like, hey, we're entering into something called a plutocracy now, which means that very few rich people actually control everything. So we got to get used to that idea. So they're like kind of, the super rich already have this idea in mind that like less and less people are going to have wealth, you know what I mean? And more people are going to be poor. And some of them say like, yeah, the best thing to do is just give them a ton of money so they don't revolt, because that's what's going to happen. Every empire in history, they collapse because of this very reason. The empire extends itself with wars. It can't pay for shit. The food economy start collapsing. Everybody goes hungry. They start fucking rioting in the streets. You know what I mean? And then eventually they fucking rise up and start killing all the rich people and then put in a new person. So that's part of history. That happens over and over everywhere. So I don't think.
We're trying to avoid it here.
Right, but we're not really doing anything. I mean, one of the ways we could do that is give everyone healthcare. Fucking just start giving everyone UBI. Just start fucking, like, I think the thing is that when it comes to shit like war or like the banks, the government seems to have an endless money supply. They just seem to just be like, all right, here you go, guys. And they just fucking, but when it comes to like helping poor people or people have healthcare and shit like that, suddenly they're like, well, how are we going to pay for it, man? Like, how are we going to,
oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Suddenly they're all strapped for cash.
Taxpayer.
Yeah, suddenly they're like, oh, what are we going to, who's got the plan to figure that?
It's supposed to be like a recycling fountain, right? But they're just dumping more water into the shit whenever it's for their fountains. I understand that completely, because like when you mentioned taxpayer money earlier, I was like, well, what is it? What really is taxpayer money? What could it possibly actually be paying for if they're dumping trillions every couple of days? That's not our money. Where did the trillions come from? They just printed it.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, it comes from the future. It comes from your kid. You have a child. It comes from your child's future.
That's right. My great grandchild's in debt. Probably,
yeah. Basically
on a computer somewhere.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, hopefully he'll be hooked up to the Matrix and, making credits, just being a good member, like a productive member of the simulation. Like
that's why I didn't care about credit cards, because I knew I was born into debt. That's why I was like, you know what, they want me to kind of do this, so I fucked my credit up. I really did. It's like at 400 or something like that.
Oh, that's
I knew,
nothing.
Like, oh, so what?
That's a drop in the.
What? Who cares?
Vic, that's a drop in the bucket, bro. You should forget. You know what I mean? And plus, that the entire economy runs on credit, on Americans like you doing their duty and getting credit and maxing out. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's actually, you're keeping the country running.
I did my part.
Yeah, you did your part. We were attacked on 9/11, and George W. Bush told us to keep shopping. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what he told us to do, and by God, we're doing it still. All right, I'm gonna
I
fucking.
think like every president has sent out a stimulus for a hot minute, right? Like I think George sent one.
Did Obama send one? Did you get an Obama stimulus?
Obama sent a check. Not much, but he totally sent the check. And now Trump has. So like
we got a
that's at
Trump
least
check.
the last 3 presidents. And
I
Trump
know.
was a pimp, man. He put his name on that check. That was a fucking pimp move.
I think that's hilarious. I think that's hilarious.
I love it. You know, he's a rude person or whatever, but at the same time, I like the gumption that he's got. You know, the
thing is,
balls.
yes. The thing is, people are like, you're supposed to hate him, but so many people secretly like it. You know what I mean? Secretly, and I think including the media who says they hate Trump. I think they love the guy because he makes them so much money. They are rolling in. You know what I mean? Like they're rolling in it. Fucking. And yeah, just the idea that he was just like, stop the presses. I'm putting my name on these.
Yeah, like I think that like even after the ruling was set, like yeah, everyone's getting a check, and he said he's like, but hold up though, put my name on it.
Yeah,
I gotta sign it. And like he moved mountains to make that happen. So much so that now that the second round is about to come out, he doesn't even want to go through the process again because it was so hard to put his name on it the first time.
He got it out there. I think that's all that mattered.
Yeah, he'll make it happen again. I mean, we'll see. I'm kind of hoping that this, a version of this just stays because I do like money being sent out. I do like a lot of people staying in. I do like less traffic and lower gas. There's a lot of good things about this, honestly.
Mm-hmm. It's
not the worst plague. You know, most plagues take your children, and this one just took old people.
Yeah, so, I think we're blessed. We're blessed in that way. That the babies are fine.
Everything, yeah.
Well, really, that's what I mean.
One thing I've been reminding myself is that like children seem to be, because they'd be reporting about it. If children were dying, they'd be saying it. They'd be mentioning it every 3 seconds. By the way, kids are dying. Yeah. They're not saying it, so it's not a thing.
Right. It's not, and not only that,
kind of.
Well, for instance, where you're at, do you have any sort of inkling of if the hospitals are overwhelmed or if you're, you know what I mean? Like, do you have any idea?
I mean, I haven't driven by one, but if there was any real panic, I think I'd hear a lot more sirens than I do, you know? I've definitely driven by emergency rooms and those are closed. I've definitely driven by old folks' homes and there doesn't seem to be ambulances parked outside of it necessarily. So visually, as far as like my everyday life, no, nothing's really changed. And they like to say that it's because we flattened the curve and we stopped it before it came. But, you know, it sounds a little bit more realistic that they tweak the numbers just to avoid the whole situation. And less people miraculously died of cancer and the regular flu this year for some weird reason.
Right, they're juking the stats. Well, I think part of it is that they would rather juke the stats than say that maybe we were wrong. Because I think it's okay. It's totally fine to say maybe we were wrong because they were all projections. You know what I'm saying? Like back then, we were projecting, so we have no idea. So it's totally fine to come to the people and tell them the truth and be like, you know what, but it's because they're a bunch of politicians and it's an election year. Nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants the other side to have a clip of them saying I was wrong. You know what I mean? Like everybody's doubling down on everything. And so it's just, I mean, it's completely retarded because we basically can't save lives and help people because we're just fighting each other over dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's really getting scary because as I get older, it seems like really less and less people know what's actually happening. I remember growing up and I mean, I don't know if people talk more about politics now on average, but I didn't hear as much about politics when I was little. And I used to just assume that people who were in it understood what they were doing. But now I'm getting older and I'm getting to know these fucking politicians better. It just seems like they're not, I don't know if they're not smart, but I don't know if they're necessarily the people that should be in charge of a bunch of shit. I wouldn't have put them in charge. I'd put smart people in charge of shit. It doesn't seem like any of them are scientists or anybody who, prepared for this type of situation, but they all talk about it a lot. They all talk about each other a lot. It sucks. It sucks getting older because people are so it's obvious how much dumber we all are. I
Well,
don't
I
know if
think
we're getting dumber, if it was always that way. Was it always that way? You're older than me.
yeah, I'm older than you, man. The way I see it is that I think there's a tendency as a kid to give a lot of credit to the world and just be like, of course, because it's kind of like how you treat your parents, right? As a kid, where you're like, of course they have it under control, and of course they know what's going. You know what I mean? You just kind of have faith that your parents understand everything, and then one day you get old enough and you realize, oh shit, they're just a person like me. Like they have no idea what's going on. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and I think in a way that's what happens as you get older when it comes to things like institutions and people in power. You start realizing, oh fuck, they're just like people, you know, they're people, and just like the majority of people are not that smart, the majority of people in government are not that smart, you know what I'm saying? And there
Yeah,
are
because I'm bullshitting my way through this,
yeah,
but
and
I
so is
didn't
everybody
think that
else.
everyone else was. Yeah,
Oh
like I
yeah,
was hoping
yeah.
that everyone else knew what they were doing. It's okay that I bullshit,
Nope.
but like, whoa, that guy's got a lot more things, and that he's in charge of than I am, and he seems like he's kind of bullshitting too, because we recognize it in someone else.
Right.
It sucks.
And so, I mean, I think that is the ultimate realization. I think, and it's very helpful as fucking comics is the realization that like, oh, we're all fucking just faking this shit. We're all just fucking making it up as we go along. Yeah,
like
that's
second
it.
to second.
We have no clue. We have no idea. And ultimately, I mean, we literally an asteroid could come and just come right now and just wipe us out. We have no idea. You know what I mean? Like everything could be fine. It would be crazy, right? It would be this. Hopefully, this would get recorded. Hopefully, I could hit the convert button or whatever I need to.
It would happen now. I mean, it seems like
oh, that would be so dope if I could see it. If I saw it cross over your head, just fucking ass.
Yeah, and it just
be like, oh.
I don't know. I don't even know if that happened to the dinosaurs or not. I'm still iffy about that one.
You don't know if there was an asteroid?
I don't know if it was one that kind of wiped them all out. You know?
Oh, it could have been it could have been a volcano for all they know. I mean, they don't know. They don't really know.
That's what I think lizard people are. I think that it really didn't wipe them out. They just evolved and started like shape shifting.
Oh, dude, what if they were lizard people and it was like climate change that got them? You know what I mean? Like they fucking the technology. Right. Yeah, they got all too hot and shit, and then they fucking and so now there's like just a few of them run the world. But
you ever seen Super Mario Brothers the movie? It's kind of got some of those things hidden in there. It's pretty interesting.
Oh, man. Yeah, maybe that's actually a warning to the people about the reptilians. You know, like this fucking.
I'm telling you, go watch it. I was watching it the other day, and there's so many illusions. Like they have a Trump-like leader. And
oh yeah, King Koopa, yeah, man.
Yeah, like he's got like blonde hair and shit, and he's dictatorship, and then there's a whole mushroom like subplot, and and there's some disinfectant shit going on there too, where like the higher class think that the lower class are dirty. It's fascinating what they hid in this child's movie.
I heard, I don't know if this is true, but I heard that, I think it was like Bob Hoskins and John Leguizamo, right? They're the Mario and Luigi.
Goddamn right. The best Luigi, fucking John Leguizamo. I love that dude.
So I think I don't know, it's probably urban legend, but they were never sober there during the shooting of that whole movie. Like they would just trash the entire, they were just fucked up the entire time.
I wouldn't doubt it. I have to go back and watch, see how pink the cheeks are.
So how are you spending your days, man? How are you what are you doing? Like you guys with the family?
For the first couple of weeks, yeah, I've been eating a lot. My mom cooks really good, so I've been eating.
Ooh. What's your favorite thing she makes?
I've been stuffing myself. Just rice.
Rice?
Mexican rice.
Yes.
With the little veggies, you know.
Ooh, yeah, no, I know it. Yeah. Ooh.
God,
I'm sure in Texas too,
good.
It's very particular. Because I know about the Californian style, but like I'm sure in Texas.
Yeah. The Mexicans are different. We use different spices. There's no curry in our spices. You know, they don't even know what the hell that is out here.
Whoa, wait. What do you mean curry? What do you mean like?
There's like that curry? Red powder.
Yeah.
Mexicans in California use curry. They use that red powder. They use it more often.
Interesting.
Almost in every other thing. and they don't even know what that is here in Texas. They've never heard of that. It's
how about
the
cumin?
Mexicans here. Cumin maybe, but it's mostly like garlic. It's garlic and jalapenos and peppers and salt.
It's a pepper
and
based.
pepper.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's more spices, but not like world spices.
Right.
I think that's what it is. It's like they got this whole world influence in California. So like the spices you use, they just taste. They have a reflection of like just not where the dish you're trying to complete.
Right. It also New Mexican food was similar in that way, where there was like not any cumin and spices and much more just pepper based, garlic, pepper, shit like that.
Yeah, because they used the shit of the land. There was no like international trade involved. It's like whatever you could find here in the dirt here.
Plus, California is also so much shit grows here. Tons of different things grow here. So
you have options, and I mean it's fine and all, but it's certainly different.
You're like, it's not real Mexican food. You're not. It's not real Mexican food. Do you feel like Texan Mexicans? Do you feel like they are kind of like just like Texas is stereotypically? Like they like things big. They're fucking. They like they're proud. They're right. You know what I mean? They're like fucking. They'll fucking don't mess with them. They'll fucking fight you if you need to. Do you feel like culturally they're kind of similar in that way? Like there's a real Texan quality to them?
Yeah, they protect their traditions more so than they are willing to accept a new thing. Not that we don't like new things. We just know that the good old is the good old,
Oh, interesting. So there's like a conservatism. There's a kind of a
if that's I don't always know the definitions of words people throw out.
Yeah. It's like the past. The past is fucking there's like something good about the past, and it's like it's better. Better the ideals, honor, shit like that. Like fucking things like that. Like things that used to mean
it's
stuff.
Comfort. It's comforting. It's warmth. And new things are scary and cold.
Gotcha. Yeah. So do you feel like California, like California Mexicans are similar in that way, where it's like there's a lot more sort of exposure to things and a lot more sort of like, I don't know, I guess like just like the food, there's a lot of like introduction of foreign things into stuff.
Yeah, the very nature of the reason a Mexican would find himself in California means that they're willing to conform and travel. And as opposed to a Mexican who's in Texas, the land changed around us, but we stayed here and we kept a lot of our traditions. So we didn't change, everything around us changed. Whereas if you found yourself in California, you were a changing person, and that was a place that you're supposed to go, because that's the mindset there. You're coming there for the new world and shit, manifest destiny.
Wait, but that was gold. Mexico too. That used to be Mexico. There's mad Mexicans there. No?
It was a beach. It was nothing. It wasn't even Mexico. It was completely bare.
There's nothing. No. Wow. That's bold. Like Texicans.
It was a white sheet of paper. As far as history was concerned, it was, I mean, other than maybe natives, I don't know much about the native culture of California, but it was almost like free land. Just come take it and make what you will of it. And that's what it still is. It's like they just kind of make shit there.
I mean, the capital was Monterrey at one point. Monterrey was a huge capital. Well, anyways, hey, I don't know. I mean, I think that I bet there's a lot of interesting fucking differences between the culture. But just like it's just very interesting because like the whole place used to be one country. You know what I mean? All this used to be Mexico. And I think part of it is that it's so big. Like the little bit I read about like Mexican history, and especially with the Mexican-American War, part of why Mexico couldn't really fight the war is because this shit was so far north that like it took so much time and effort to get all the armies up. You know what I mean? It was just like they were like just like fuck it. They're just like let it go because it was so far away.
It wasn't worth fighting for.
But this whole thing used to be all considered one country. And then it just got jacked. I mean,
Mexico.
Well, Texas was the first place to jack it. That was actually one of the best things about Texas is they just straight up annexed it. They're just like, this is ours now.
Yeah, they tried to, didn't they? I don't know. I don't know how big Texas was before it is what it was right now. I guess it had damn near from here to California, had everything in between even, I think.
I don't know about Texas proper, but I know that Texas, for instance, whatchamacallit, Juarez, right, is like split in half, right? Like El Paso and Juarez. So that it used to definitely stretch past the river there. You know what I mean? Like Texas used to incorporate, that used to be part of it too. So like that was all like the borders that they drew after the war kind of cut into what that was, you know?
Oh yeah, and you can tell today too when you go down there to El Paso. It's just like right across the fence. You wouldn't even know the difference between the two. They're so popularized and civilized now. It just looks like a one big city with a fence going through the middle.
Yeah, that's a trip, and a lot of people commute.
Right
they commute
there.
back and forth between the two cities. You know, a lot of people just like. There's also on the California border too. There's Calexico on this side, and then Mexicali on the other side. And they're just like split in half by the border.
Go to Tijuana, a 4-hour trip, no big deal. I don't know about now though. I don't know if the border's still shut down officially. I'm not too sure.
Oh man,
that was kind of the cool thing about it. I like that though. I like that move. Whenever Mexico said they weren't letting Americans in.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Like, shit, this is really going down. That was one of those things, when the tide turned.
But it's actually not. I don't know. I don't think it's actually pretty smart because that is where the cases are going to come from. You know what I mean? Like they are going to come from the north, so you might as well shut that down. If you want to control it. Like I don't think you should be all like, oh, is this racist or is this rude? Like I don't think there's no time for that. It's like the right thing to do is to actually. But that's a funny thing is like, Trump shutting down the borders is actually the right thing to do, but nobody can. It would be like. People would rather shoot themselves in the face than admit that was the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, because he didn't do it nicely.
Yeah, that's what they want.
He didn't say it the right way. It was the good move, but he was a jerk about it.
That's true, and we prefer our lizards with their masks on, and that's really what it is. But you're in the great state of Texas with masks off. You don't need a fucking mask at all. They make Angelinos have to wear masks. You gotta wear masks outside now.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of into it though. I like it. I have a joke that I'm working on about how I like to keep my drugs in my mask. I put my weed in my mask because like I hate the smell of my breath. So that's a fun new place to put your weed.
Dude, that'd be dope if they made like a little vape rig with a mask, like it's inside your mask, you know what I'm saying? And you just take hits off of it while it's inside.
Yeah, how many people own those gas mask bongs? That wouldn't be weird to walk around with that with the bong attached right now. Like who would really take a second glance at you? They probably wouldn't care. Like, okay, well just don't light that bong, I guess, but you can wear your gas mask bong in this store.
It's totally legal. Yeah, it's like I think Kyle Henson has one. I think I saw him with. Yeah, get his ass.
If I was him, I'd be rocking that shit. I used to have one, but I melted it.
What do you mean? Because you tried to smoke out of it?
Yeah, I tried to smoke out of it, and like you can't really see. So like the flame got too close to the mask, it fucking melted it. I couldn't attach the bong correctly to the mouthpiece, so it wasn't practical anymore. Threw it away. But maybe I'll invest in a new bong gas mask.
Dude, what's the weed situation like there? It's not really as cool. It's not legal at all, right? So like
it's not legal, but it's also decriminalized.
Oh, okay.
Since I left, it's like 5 years ago, almost 8 years ago or something like that. It was really illegal. Like you could go to jail for a blunt. Now, you'd go to jail and they'd even try you for intent to distribute if you had what felt like an excessive amount on you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you'll barely get a ticket, if that. Like a cop really has to be a jerk to give you a ticket. And I mean, you're still going to get busted for intent to distribute if they catch you with like, say, a pound or something like that, or definitely if you have a scale on you. They don't like people with scales.
Right.
But or baggies, scales, baggies, they hate that shit. But if you just have some like a recreational user, they might confiscate it from you. They might keep their eye on you, but you won't go to jail that day. If the idea of like a cop seeing you with weed, you're not going to go to jail, and that's a beautiful thing.
Wow. It's a new era.
That's wonderful. And it's easier to get a hold of, but it still has that flavor of illegal. You know, it still has that ting to it where like this is wrong.
Yeah, but I like that.
Adds to the high. That adds
I
to
like
the high,
that, man.
sure.
I miss that. Weed is
like,
lame.
No, yeah, when it's too normalized like that, it's not cool anymore.
Yeah, it's so
now,
square.
Yeah, coming out here, there's like some sneakiness, and you have to hide, and the paranoia isn't just made up. It's like, yeah, you have to be a little paranoid. It's practical.
Yeah, I think it keeps it honest. Like, I'm all for that. You know what I mean? And I think that just like with comedy too, the speakeasies and shit is gonna keep it honest. You know what I'm saying?
Surprisingly, pretty similar prices though. Like, you know, the as far as like what you would find in a dispensary out there, actually pretty close to the prices you'd get out here without the taxes, I suppose.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know any of my old dealers from high school, but it's not as hard to find either. It's really not. Like they're rolling around like they're not that concerned anymore. Especially now, there's more things to worry about.
Yeah.
I think police presence, like they don't even respond so much out here either. I haven't seen too many, other than, you know, making sure people aren't getting too close together. It seems like yeah, drugs aren't a priority anymore. You know, it's not even a war on drugs anymore. Yeah. Isn't that over now? It feels like it.
I mean, not according to all the black and brown men in jail still.
Yeah.
but for the lucky ones, yes. For us who are still on the outside, it's kind of winding down, kind of. Like, I don't know. It's always going to be
a crazy thing. I saw a CBD sign out here. I've seen CBD signs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they sell CBD at like vitamin shops at AMC or what the fuck that the vitamin shop is.
Like GNC or whatever.
GNC, yeah. They sell
GNC.
CBD.
Yeah.
They have a big neon sign.
Well, CBD is legal. It's legal in all 50 states, so you know it's like
right. But like, you know, to a bunch of like podunks hicks out here that didn't know the difference about a couple of years ago, like, well, weed, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they just know the fact that it came from weed is bad enough for them, but now that's gone. That stink is gone. Pretty fascinating.
That's great. Well, I think that's good because hopefully it'll be a reduction in a lot of these opioid deaths and shit, you know, because people are fucking taking opioids for pain and shit and then getting hooked on them. So hopefully they start using other stuff, you know.
All those pills in general, dude, it's really good. I'd much rather my parents take CBD for their inflammation and pain and all that, as opposed to I don't know how many pills they take right now because they're just old school.
Yeah, totally. All right, man. Let's wrap this up. Vic, when did you say you're coming back again?
I'll be back the 21st.
Okay, 21st.
And, and I'm probably gonna start doing shows like as soon as I get back. Like I'm working on the website for the High Tonight show. I want to start doing those. I might actually do those virtually because I've figured out a way I could probably do that like on Zoom or some shit.
Yeah.
But as far as like doing garage mic, I'm coming back, man. I'm coming back strong.
Oh, so then do you also know about that drive-up mic?
I saw that. That's pretty fucking cool. I'd been doing drive-in movies since before this shit went down because I just like hotboxing and watching movies.
Yeah,
so I saw that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it this Saturday. Yeah, I'm gonna try it this Saturday, so I'm excited for that.
Where is it at?
I don't know. It's secret. Until like the day before, day of, or whatever. So I don't know yet. But it's a good idea. Yeah, it's a good idea. Everybody's in their cars.
That could work. You know, everyone's in their cars. They can hear you through their radio, maybe.
Yeah.
And you're just standing up there where the screen would be. That fucking works. It really does. I mean, hell, if they're booing you, they could honk. So I don't know.
Yeah,
how
exactly. I mean, if you suck, I mean, at least you'll find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Instead of walking the room, you drive the room away.
They just drive away.
Oh yeah, thanks for driving away in the middle of my joke.
Oh shit! Oh fuck! Damn, you're gonna do me like that? All right.
Yeah, that's great.
That's hilarious. All right, Doug. Okay. All right,
well,
Victor, man. Thank you.
It was a lot of fun.
Brother, thank you so much, and I'll see you when you get back, man.
Alrighty, dude. Let me know you want to do another one. I could have done this for hours.
All right.
Later, dude.
All right. Take care.